Audio is going. Ready whenever. Hopefully. Welcome back to the Growth is Beauty podcast. I'm your host, Danielle. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, you'll notice I have a whole new setup today. I'm sure I'll be making some changes along the way, but I'm super pumped about it because it's mostly pink, which I just realized I'm drinking a pink Monster. Since hopefully you'll be hearing my voice often, I thought it was time to properly introduce myself. Normally, the first episode of a podcast is where the host shares their story and the vision behind the show. But we did things a little bit differently around here. I kind of just jumped right into it. My first episode is a very special one to me. If you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. Today, I want to take a step back and share a little more about who I am and what inspired me to start this podcast. Consider this a belated but heartfelt introduction so you can get to know the voice behind the mic. So why am I starting this podcast? Honestly, it's something I've quietly wanted to do for a while now. And the funny thing is, I never have been known much as a talker, but that started to shift about 3 years ago when I began going to therapy. Opening up in that space helped me find my voice in a way I never expected. And now, sharing my thoughts, stories, and conversations through this podcast feels like the next step in continuing that journey. Not just for me, but hopefully for anyone else who might need to hear that it's okay to grow, to speak, and to be seen. Having a safe outlet to talk through things I was struggling with, whether it was emotions, experiences, or just things that I had kept bottled up for a very long time, was incredibly healing. There's something powerful about simply being heard. It reminded me that we don't have to carry everything on our own, and that speaking out loud can bring clarity, perspective, and relief. That experience truly changed me. Your thinking brain, your speaking brain, and your writing brain are 3 different things. If you can think it, say it out loud, and journal it, you're spreading out the trouble, thoughts, and knowledge into different areas. The more links you can apply into these 3 areas, the more buffer you have. When you get it out, write it out, and say it out loud, you're getting the most objectivity in the stories that you're telling yourself and that you're reflecting on. I'm really starting to understand this theory and to try putting it into practice a lot lately. So far, I've noticed a significant change in my emotional intelligence. I've also been known as the one with the camera out all the time. I was the first one in the family to get a flip phone with camera, the Razor, back in the day. I'm also known as the Instagram queen in my family. My sister and now brother-in-law actually dressed up as myself and my husband, Mike, for Halloween one year with my old Instagram handle, DC Fit, written across her chest. In social situations, when someone would be like, "We should get a picture of this," you bet I already got the shot. Documenting my life and the people in it was always something I did and loved and continue to do. Things grew even more. I started my own YouTube channel. At first, I was so nervous to speak or be in front of the camera because I was so used to being the one taking the pictures and videos, other than the selfies and when Mike was taking them for me. I was only comfortable when Mike was photographing me. But over time, I started gaining confidence both in myself and in my voice. Now, when I look back, it's amazing to see the progress I've made and how much more comfortable I've been with expressing myself. But I never documented the rough times because who really thinks about documenting those? When I injured my back the first time and was forced to retire from a sport I loved, to be honest, I deleted my whole fitness account instead of just archiving it, which I didn't know that was possible at the time, which pretty much had all my powerlifting footage on there, and I didn't have it backed up anywhere else. I guess I did that in the moment because I was very upset, hopeless, and I was dealing with a lot of emotions. But now I feel like a completely different person. I'm documenting this shit now because it's so important to me. The moral of the story is, think before you delete your footage. I've always wanted to share my experiences and life lessons along the way. Mike always laughs because I used to pretend and still do like my life is a movie. I always have the camera in my hands because I love having all the footage to look back on. I used to hold the camera up and pretend I was filming myself vlogging my whole day until I decided to finally get the courage and do it because why not? I also love a good story time, telling it and listening to it. I pretty much relive all the moments in my head and tell Mike every single detail about what happened in my day when he wasn't there. Or maybe he was there too. My surgery and the recovery has taught me a lot. I feel a lot more comfortable with talking about serious topics. The life chats Mike and I have been having are intense and incredible all at the same time. From deep conversations about business planning, life goals, and everything in between, I want to share it with you and have a place that I can document it, share it, and reflect back on. If I hadn't documented my recovery journey after the surgery, I don't think I truly understand how far I've come. It's so easy for details to blur over time. It's kind of like a dream. You wake up remembering how vivid it was, how you felt, but as the day goes on, it starts to slip away. I don't want that to happen with this process. This transformation has been too important, too personal to let that memory fade. And for you listeners out there, I want you to do the same. Document your life in some way to be able to look back on it, whether it's in writing, in a video, pictures, whatever. Anyways, here's a little background about me and potentially some of the things that may come up on my podcast in the future, which some of the topics I definitely will be talking about. I'm from a very large family. There's 10 of us. I have 7 siblings. I was always in social settings, whether that was family or sports, just constantly around people with never any alone time. And as I get older, I found myself wanting that alone time more and more to be able to reflect and just to sit in your own thoughts, which would terrify me before. Hobbies and side hustles are everything to me. This is definitely going to be a podcast episode. There's a lot of funny stories in there that come along with it. A lot of big plans and unsuccessful ideas. But the one I'm most proud of is my Mrs. P Creations business because I stuck to it for so many years, learned so much, and had a lot of fun with it. Isn't that the purpose of life? And I guess you can say this whole new thing that I'm doing right now, podcast, YouTube, is going to become one of those. I love to stay busy, but my surgery has taught me I can slow down, educate myself on topics I'm interested in, and things that can help me and other people move forward in life. I've also been married for coming up on 7 years in a month, and we have a 10-and-a-half-year-old Frenchie, which she will have her own episode that I'm going to dedicate to her. Fitness is a huge part of who I am and honestly who we are as a couple. For me, working out has always been a way to clear my mind to help me think more clearly. I grew up in a very athletic family. Every night we were either taking part in a sport or watching a sport. My first sport was competitive gymnastics. I loved it because of the variety that you could do with all the events. You could really be good in one event or all of them, or just a few. But I remember going through a really tough time of being scared to do a back walk over on the beam. I saw a lot of people get hurt, and I knew what movements came after that when you were ready for the next step. I wasn't confident for the first time of doing it. I remember my coach made me stand on the beam the whole practice with my hands up in the air, ready to go. For context, practices were typically 2 hours long. I was very stubborn and scared that I just stood there unwilling to even give it a try for 2 hours. It's probably very unethical when I look back on it, but times are different now. But when I look back at it now, just because I was scared, does that mean I shouldn't have tried it? Or if I had systems in place to cope with the emotional side of it, would I have tried it? If someone took the time to educate me, walk through all the different steps of how to do it properly, would I have tried it? I don't know. I think that's what stirred me away from wanting to do individual sports after that. From then, I played all team sports, pretty much. It made me feel included, but also I could disappear when I wanted to. When I look back now, I start to think about, was I actually building the person I wanted to become or just adjusting my personality based on the environment I was in at the time? I grew up playing sports all through elementary and high school. Any sport, you name it, I was doing it. I did competitive cheerleading. To be honest, I love the people, but that definitely was not my sport. Basketball was. I played it since I think I was around 7 years old and played varsity college basketball. I was training in the gym 13 years ago in the summer to get stronger for the next season of basketball when I met my husband, Mike. I was going through a rough time mentally at that time. He was one of the first people I could talk to about anything. We would chat for hours in the hot tub about everything and nothing at the same time. He introduced me to powerlifting, the first individual sport I did since gymnastics days. Not a lot of people understood why I put myself under all that weight. I don't even really think I understood it at the time. A lot of people just assumed I started it because my boyfriend at the time was doing it. Maybe that's why I started it, but once I got going, I was really working on myself for what felt like the first time in a really long time, or ever. Working towards a goal and trying to improve constantly, doing something that scared me, but something I could control the load, set goals, and challenge myself was something I loved to do. I competed in powerlifting for about 4 years. Fitness and athletics have always been my go-to outlet, especially when life got tough. But when I injured my back about 5.5 years ago for the first time during my powerlifting journey, I felt like I lost that outlet and a part of myself along with it. I got scared again. I got stuck in a routine of not having some sort of fitness in my daily routine, and I struggled. I got stuck in this self-deprecating mindset. I felt like that little girl again on the beam with her hands up in the air, but less stubborn, more defeated. When I started to finally get back into the gym and lifting weights again safely, some pretty major events happened in life. I felt even more lost, but more mentally and emotionally this time. Mike helped pull me out of that, but I also pulled myself out of it. That's when I started to go to therapy because I didn't want to get stuck in that routine again. Oh, shoot. Oops. Doing a bodybuilding show in July 2024 really helped me reclaim that outlet in a way I never expected. It was me against me. It was a time I could prove it to myself that I could do this again. It gave me something to focus on, something just for me, during a very challenging time in our lives. It helped me reconnect with myself, believe in myself, and honestly, it was a game changer. Waking up every day with a goal that I chose for myself felt amazing again. It truly pulled me out of a dark place. But of course, right after the show, my back injury came back, but this time it was a lot more severe. But giving up on fitness, not an option this time. I couldn't lose that part of myself again, even if my whole left side was numb and in pain. I pushed through it and kept working out right until about 5 days before my surgery. I thought I could power through it, but it turned out surgery was inevitable and had to happen sooner rather than later. And it was completely out of my control of the surgery happening. This time, though, I told myself it will be different. I felt like I discovered a new version of myself, someone stronger and more resilient. Instead of focusing on all the negatives that was going on, I started shifting my mindset. I started recommitting to my growth because I believe growth is beautiful. Fitness is a big part of who I am, but it's not the whole picture. It's helped shape who I've become, but I'm learning that there's more to me than just that. That's why I'm sharing my journey with you on this podcast. So we can talk about my experiences, other people's experiences, what I've learned, and bring some amazing guests who will offer fresh perspectives on life. Behind the scenes, I've been putting a lot of work on myself, and holy crap, it is very tiring. Work that people might not see, but that's been key for my self-development. Setting boundaries, taking time for myself, reflecting, and growing into a better version of myself so I can make a bigger impact on those around me. You have to show up for yourself first before you can show up for other people. Through my childhood experiences, adulthood, and my job of being a teacher, I've seen how much fitness can impact and improve oneself, but also how an environment, a coach, or a mentor can also impact someone and their future experiences in a negative way. I want this podcast to be honest, educating, and telling you how important it is to surround yourself with people who impact you in a positive way and push you to be better. I know firsthand how self-esteem issues can hold you back, and I'm committed to embracing my growth journey. It's a continuous adventure and will be an ongoing thing for the rest of my life, and I'm focusing on peace, calm, presence, as I move forward. I've been through a lot of transformative phases in my life, and I'm currently in one right now. This time I'm documenting it because holy crap, when I look back on all the shit I've been through, how far I've come, and how much I've grown, I'm so proud of myself. This is probably the first time I truly mean it. Yeah, graduating, getting a job, getting a permanent job is cool, but really working on yourself is pretty freaking cool too. So just remember, the beauty of growth lies in enjoying the journey and celebrating those small wins every single day, even if you have to go find those small wins. I'd love for you to join me on my journey right here on Growth is Beauty podcast. You can expect a mix of solo episodes and insightful guest interviews that dive deeper into topics we will explore. You can also catch us, me, on it's okay. On YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, and make sure you hit follow so you're the first one to know when the new episodes drop. And Bella is licking my foot. Growth is a process. Growth requires effort. Growth thrives on consistency because growth is beauty. Catch you in the next episode. Talk soon. Peace. Oh, no. Tap, tap, tap.